All right, that's what I was at. I thought we just did it. I scratched it off, but that's still,
Yeah.
all right. How do you want me to phrase that? How do you want me to announce that? Okay, got it. All right, who are we missing? W. There's two. Okay, guys, get desperate. So quiet down there. You doing all right? Who sent this out? Was you or, the council? WB still in there? Now, a second Turn around. Okay, I'd like to call the order at 7:04, the meeting of the City Council of the City of Rocky Mount here on May 10th. This time, I'd like to ask everybody if they'd stand and observe a moment of silence and meditation to pray as you will. Thank you. This time I'd like to ask City Clerk if she'll call the roll.
Councilmember Knight,
Here.
Blackwell,
Here.
Joyner,
Here.
Walker,
Here.
Daltrich,
Here.
Bullock,
Here.
Miller.
Here.
Okay, we have a quorum. At this point in time, I'd like to ask if there are any additions or deletions to the agenda items. I have two additions. One's a personnel matter, it'll be a statement made by our attorney, Jeff Rose. Second is the Aetna reinsurance matter. And then a request that we pull 17A out, just simply to vote on it separately, not to delete it, but rather to vote on it separately. Okay. Just to vote on it separately. It was just a request. I'm going over it with everybody, just like the other additions. No, it was from Councilman Daltrich.
If something on the agenda that we want to talk about when that time come, instead of just pulling it out, we just talk about it.
All right.
So I'm in favor, keep it as it is.
Yes.
I would, as my request is, I'd like to vote on it separately.
I think, do we need a majority to vote on what we want to vote on?
Well, we need.
I'm asking
To make all the the changes, we need a vote on it. So that's why I'm asking if there are any others, and so let's consider them separately then. Are there any other additions or deletions to the agenda other than what I've recommended? And then we'll go through them, and then we'll see if everybody's in favor of either moving it separately or keeping it together or adding the items that requested to be added.
I'm not understanding your order. I agree with adding the Aetna and the personnel, but it's already on the agenda. So when it comes to that item, there's no need for you or whomever to pull anything out. But when it comes to that, then we discuss that at that particular time. It's not a deletion or an addition. It's already on the agenda.
And the request is not to remove it or to delete it, but rather to ask that we vote on it separately. And you're saying, no, you don't want to do that.
Correct.
So can we at least go through the process and just say that again in a formal manner?
I'm not in favor.
Okay. All right, I've got two additions and one request pulled outside. 17A, if you'll vote, if you're in favor of pulling that out as a separate vote, then please say aye. All right, I need to see, all opposed by like sign?
Aye.
Can I see a hand vote? All opposed, 1, 2, 3. So we'll pull it out separately. All right. With that, item number 4 on our agenda is the approval of the minutes of the regular scheduled city council meeting held on April 26, 2021. The request is that we approve the minutes. Are there any changes to that, and do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilman Joyner. Is there a second? Second by Councilman Walker. All in favor of approval of the minutes of the last meeting, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. That brings us to item number 5, which is our community update. So at this time, I'll turn it over to our city manager, Rochelle Small-Tony.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of council. Good evening. I'd like to begin my report by sharing that the Rocky Mount Fire Department will hold its Citizens Fire Academy beginning Tuesday, May 18th. The academy is free and runs each Tuesday through June the 22nd from 6 to 8 o'clock p.m. Citizens will learn about the department's history, hiring and training procedures, special operation teams, and more. There is no registration fee, but you will need to call 972-1379 or 972-1449 to register. Social distancing and COVID-19 precautions will be taken. The Rocky Mount Police Department will offer a week-long Junior Police Academy for youth ages 13 through 18. Academy participants will enroll in a week-long camp from July 19th through the 23rd and learn about police procedures, ride along with a police officer, and get to know officers via a fun environment. Registration information is available by visiting rockymountnc.gov/police or by calling 972-1436. The City of Rocky Mount 2020 Water Quality Report is now available. Please visit rockymountnc.gov where you may view the report and learn more about your drinking water. This report contains important information about the source and quality of your drinking water. To speak to someone about the report or to request the mailing of a paper copy to your home, call 972-1336. The City of Rocky Mount's Business and Collection Services Department is utilizing the Community Development Block Grant CARES Act funding to assist utility customers within the city limits who meet income requirements. The program is designed to assist with payment of delinquent utility bills for low to moderate income households impacted by the loss of income due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Households that became delinquent after March 31st, 2020, and their income was affected by COVID-19 may receive up to 6 months of utilities assistance via this program. For more information on eligibility requirements, visit rockymountnc.gov or contact our Business Services Center at 972-1250. The City of Rocky Mount's Community and Business Development Department is currently accepting applications for the Small Business Assistance Grant Program. All interested and eligible small businesses with 25 or fewer employees based in the City of Rocky Mount are encouraged to apply for CARES Act Community Development Block Grant, better known as CDBG-CV. This funding is to assist in the preparation, prevention, and response to coronavirus. For more information or to download an application, visit rockymountnc.gov or call the Business Development Administrator at 972-1178. Finally, the city's Tar River Transit Service is offering free rides to COVID-19 vaccination sites for those with scheduled appointments to drive-up sites. Transportation is available from 8 a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m., Monday through Saturday, to vaccination sites located in Nash and Edgecombe counties. Citizens who are interested in transportation to and from vaccination sites may call Tar River Transit at 972-1174, 972-1514, 972-1515, 972-1516, or 972-1517. All appointments need to be scheduled the day before the trip. Healthcare facilities may also call and schedule transportation on behalf of their patients. Free rides will be available until at least June 30. Visit tarrivertransit.org regarding more information about general routes and services. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Manager. Anybody have any questions for Madam Manager?
I do.
Yes, Councilperson Miller?
With regard to the Fire Academy, would it be possible to make it available via Zoom or the city's website so the people that are not signed up as a participant in that class could also learn the information shared?
I think that's a great idea, Councilmember Miller, and
And there
we'll
was something
pass
else
that
that you
along.
offered, the water quality information.
Water quality
Is
report.
that information online?
Yes, ma'am,
Thank you.
it is.
Any additional comments? I'd like to say one thing. Madam Manager, thank you for what you and your staff did to enable our National Day of Prayer service here at the City Hall. I thought y'all did a great job. I was very proud to be part of it, very proud of the performance that you and your team did. So I just think that needs to be recognized.
Thank you, sir.
With that, brings us to item 6, which are presentations and recognitions. What I'll do is I'll read the proclamation from here, and then we'll step down and we will do the photo op at that point. So by proclamation of the City of Rocky Mount, whereas economic developers promote economic well-being and quality of life for their communities by creating, retaining, and expanding jobs that facilitate growth, enhance wealth, and provide a stable tax base. And whereas economic developers stimulate and incubate entrepreneurism in order to help establish the next generation of new businesses, which is the hallmark of the American economy. And whereas economic developers are engaged in a wide variety of settings, including rural and urban, local, state, provincial, and federal governments, public-private partnerships, chambers of commerce, universities, and a variety of other institutions. And whereas economic developers attract and retain high-quality jobs, develop vibrant communities, and improve the quality of life in their regions. And whereas economic developers work in the City of Rocky Mount within the state of North Carolina, it is now therefore that I, as mayor of the City of Rocky Mount, hereby proclaim the week of May 9th through the 15th of 2021 as Economic Development Week. Thank you. Okay, that brings us to item number 7, which are petitions to be received from the public. The public petitions portion of the city council meeting is an opportunity for the public comment, and the city council appreciates your attendance and thanks you for expressing your views and opinions. The city council values all citizen input. This is an opportunity to raise a question or present a request to the council. However, in most cases, council members will not respond to public comments, but may refer a matter to city manager or staff for follow-up. Time will be monitored in order to give everyone an opportunity to speak, and speakers will have 3 minutes. Please be aware that sign-in sheets must be presented to the security officer prior to the opening of the meeting. If an organized group is present to speak on a common issue, please designate one person to present the group's comments. If your comments are in regard to an item that is the subject of a public hearing, please wait until that item is introduced to speak. Time will also be monitored. If your comments are in regard to an evidentiary hearing, additional time may be granted. City Council requests that you please adhere to the following guidelines. Complete a sign-in sheet, address comments to the council as a whole and not to individual council members or city staff. Speak from the podium in a civil, non-argumentative, and respectful manner. Personal attacks which have the potential to disrupt the meeting will not be tolerated, and you'll be asked to sit down or removed from the meeting. Keep comments to 3 minutes. This time, I'd like to ask Mr. Samuel Battle to the podium. Sounds like a Geiger counter. I was gonna say, I mean, yeah, do we need the microphone? That would be fine. Yeah.
He's got something right
I don't need all of that, I can speak.
All right. Mr. Batter, why don't you go on and commence while we are, team communications pulling together the second microphone.
Well, as a kid growing up, I was a baseball player for commercial buildings, Lion JC, organization that helped us move as kids coming out of Harvard community, urban community. And I had reached out to San Antonio because I heard something that happened in the Grove Lucas Park. And I'm trying to figure out when taxpayers start giving up donations to help city fund the batting cage and that. I know when we was kids, when the basketball globe get tore down in the park, the city come replace it, and we don't have to we don't get charged for nothing. So now kids are playing in the batting cage is messed up with the nets. Why organization gotta pay y'all money to get a whole new batting cage? That's the question I wanted to ask y'all. Maybe I can explain that when I get through. About the boxing situation, I keep putting that across mine. Floyd Patterson, Joe Torre, James Boyd, Mike Tyson, which he taught all of them. You know, Mike Tyson was 58 fights, 50 wins, 44 knockouts, 6 losses, and 2 draws. James Boyd, he didn't have a record. But all I'm saying that we need boxing in the community. We need it back. We really need that boxing back. Because a man out of DC said, Donnell Washington said, it's just a shame that we don't acknowledge Mr. Ford the way we do. He lost his medal in 1956. I mean, he won the gold medal in 1956. He lost it 2 years later. He don't even know what the gold medal is. So since y'all gave the people reparation of the garbage and stuff that Rev. Walker came here and talked about, I think we need to see can we do it, get that gold medal back to George, James Ford from the Rock. He was born here, and I think we got the majority. I think we can make it happen. He moved to Maryland. He was the boxer in 1956, won the gold medal. He lost it, so I think we need to help try to get him that medal back. If we have to make that happen, we're making everything else happen. So I went online today. PPP loan stands for Public Defender, Prison, and Probation. That was somebody put up there. But this $11,500,000 that the city council gonna get, or the city of Rocky Mount, we need to know where this money going to. Y'all need to make a list showing where all this money gonna be allocated for. It's youth programs, housing, light bill, and all that. We need to make a list. And somebody told me that ask y'all, can y'all put the housing that y'all got on the seat on the back of the agenda?
Thank you, Mr.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, I'd like to ask Mr. Troy Davis to the podium.
Good evening. Troy Davis. How much does an empty, dilapidated building add to the city bankroll? How much does a building sitting vacant in the heart of downtown add to the utilities bankroll? How much does a building with no activity add to the city sales tax bankroll? When downtown developers go to the bank, they tell them they can't bankroll the downtown projects because it doesn't have any comps or proof of concept. If the city can use it leverage to get some of the banks with their main offices downtown to bankroll development that shifts some of the heavy lifting from developers to the city, until then, we have to help bankroll downtown if we want to see it grow. It makes good business sense. When a dead building is resurrected, the property taxes increase, sales tax starts, utility bills comes in, are made that pours money into the city bankroll. Heads and beds put feet on the street. Those feet are customers for the new businesses waiting to come. So bankrolling development is a great return on investment, which adds to the city bankroll. It takes money to make money, as we as businessmen know. Councilman, I won't say his name, elect at the time said in a recent downtown workshop that he believes the heart of downtown alongside the railroad tracks gives a visibility, displeasing first impression to Amtrak passengers and needs to be revitalized. Downtown Development Manager Harris reiterated, and Amtrak passengers going to see the Imperial Center, the Event Center. Harris also noted on Amtrak passengers is going to see the Douglas Block and is going to pass by the banking centers. That councilman-elect at the time said, I get you. We got some beautiful parts, but you can't escape the fact that we're missing an opportunity, and we need to do a better job. Either we can do it half-assed or we can do it, that councilman said. So let's do it.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to ask Mr. Michael Deloche to the podium, please.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
First of all, I would like to thank the City Council and the City Manager for providing this opportunity to speak. My name is Mo Deloche, Michael Deloche, better known as Mo Deloche in the community. I just recently retired from playing basketball overseas, and one of the things that I noticed from traveling is how much advantage that overseas people have than us in Rocky Mount. And some things I'm trying to bring to Rocky Mount is some type of programming for our youth, and more of we have a lot of facilities in Rocky Mount Event Center. We have R.M. Wilson, we have BTW, we have South Rocky Mount. And it's a chance for us to start some sports training down here in Rocky Mount. It's a lack of sports training. I grew up my whole life here, and my first time training was in college. And there's some things that I would like to bring with my expertise of the game. You know, you have boxing, you have baseball, you have football, you have different activities that we can do. And you know, like I said before when I came, I'm here, I'm home now, and I would love to have a partnership with the city, and running some of these programs for our youth. My main thing from retiring is coming home to give back, and this can be my time, and you know, to do my part of coming back home and helping these youth. I believe in the youth here. I know things have slowed down because of COVID, but I still believe in our youth, and I think they really need this right here in our city. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to ask Mr. Bronson Williams to the podium.
I want to say good afternoon, or good evening rather, to the City Council, Mayor, and you know, at the beginning of the meeting, I was a bit thinking back about an item or change in the agenda, in that Rule 12 of the Charter, the Municipal Code of the city, says the city manager shall develop and recommend items to be included on the agenda for the City Council meeting. The city clerk shall prepare, publish, and distribute the agenda. After the agenda is published, items may be added or removed from the agenda only by a majority vote of the entire membership of the council. This city council has been working over the years for transparency. And as I always do on Fridays, we thank the clerk and her staff for updating and the website, as well as the technical people here that make it possible. And I noticed on the agenda that item 14 involves the transfer of some property that seems to be under the control of the city since 2017. I, being a member of the Redevelopment Commission, has talked with that group of people about whatever we do, that we don't handpick people, but we make things available to the entire community. That is important in transparency. I do understand that because of an upbeat process that may happen, this city council chooses to adopt item 14 tonight based on a recommendation, that the upbeat process will, by virtue, create an opportunity for the public to participate. But I think that when you go into things wrong, they end up wrong. So it's important that, as I advocate for with the Redevelopment Commission, is to talk about a marketing campaign that says, develop with us, so that people know what is available in the city, how they may find themselves in that environment to do good, as many people do. I think you'll find that there will be people who want to bid on those properties, and you'll see the true market value of housing, me buying houses throughout the city as well. I understand the market values and things of that nature. But again, just in the spirit of transparency, as we are moving forward and doing that with this great equipment and staff doing what they're doing, we want to keep that. We want to keep that moving in that direction. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. This time, I'd like to ask Reverend Nehemiah Smith to the podium.
Good evening to the mayor, the council, city manager, and staff. I too echo what Mr. Williams said about transparency. Number 14, I think, on the agenda was disturbing to me, and I think that it is something that should go before the Redevelopment Commission. To me, not understanding how that happened to transfer, possibly transfer 2 homes for $100 each, and but I'm hoping that you will rethink this, and that's not to say that you don't want people to
developed, but we just want to make sure that everybody has a fair shot. And I know that you say, well, with the upset bid process, that gives other people opportunities, but it just seems like the way that this was done, I didn't understand it, and I would hope with all of the progress that we've made with transparency and that we're moving towards with transparency, I would hope that we would not do this with number 14. I hope that you vote it down and find another way to do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Smith. Okay, that brings us to item number 8 on the agenda, which is consideration of the minutes and recommendations from a planning board meeting which was held on April 13th of 2021. Their review of requests and recommendations by the Director of Development Services or his designee. So we are now in the process of a public hearing relative to the following rezoning requests recommended for approval and found in compliance with the comprehensive plan by the planning board. The request by Melvin Mitchell to rezone plus 0.57 acres located at 3501 Sunset Avenue and 108 Tyson Avenue from O1 to B2. Recommended action is to receive public comment tonight and then to adopt an ordinance amending the land development code and map, of course, pending further conversation. And then we'll go to B. So at this point in time, I'll open that up. Is there anyone here from the public to speak regarding item 8A?
Mayors and members of council, for this item and the next, we do have speakers. They are the applicants for this case. So again, with this particular one on Sunset Avenue and 108 Tyson going from O&I to B2, staff recommends approval. Planning board recommends approval in that case.
This time I'll open it up for public comment.
Good evening. I'm Melvin Mitchell, and want to thank the council, city council, for considering my request. Are there any questions of me?
I'll open it up to the council. Yes, Councilman Joyner.
No question for your proposal, Mr. Melvin Mitchell, but congratulations on your being sworn into the board, DOT.
Thank you so kindly.
Amen.
Amen. Okay, hearing no questions, then what I'll do is I'll ask if we'll adopt this ordinance amending the land development code and map as per the recommendation of staff and as requested. Do I have a motion? Motion made by Councilman Joyner, seconded by half the team. I said Blackwell, I think is what I heard. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. So be it. All right, so then we'll bring in public. Thank you very much, Mr.
Okay,
Melvin.
well, thank you, and
Second one.
I really want to thank the city council for considering my request for approval. Thank you.
Thank you. So the second public hearing is relative to the following rezoning requests recommended for approval and found in compliance with the comprehensive plan by the planning board. It's the request made by Tel Hilbron of Kelly Development Company to rezone .13 acres at 1601 West Thomas Street from B1 to O1. The recommended action, of course, is to receive public comment tonight and to adopt the ordinance amending the land development code and map pending further public comment. So with that, I'll turn it over to you for the staff's recommendation and then open up the public hearing portion.
Great, thank you, Mayor, members of council. Again, this property, there's the corner of 1601 West Thomas Street, down zone from B1 to O&I. Staff recommends approval of this request. Planning Board has forwarded their recommendation for approval as well. And agent for the applicant, Laura K. Brantley-Tart, is here to answer any questions you may have.
Do you have any comments you'd like to make, Ms. Laura?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. I do just want to thank you all for considering my request, as I do look forward to serving the Rocky Mount community at the designated location. Thank you so much.
Any questions for the applicant or for staff? Councilperson Miller?
Yes, ma'am.
That's not the Kelly Personnel Company, is it?
No, it's a typo.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Hearing no other questions, I'll pose the question. Motion made by Councilman Joyner,
Second.
second by Daughtridge. Any need for further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. And motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, we don't have it on here, but normally we have a comment period, correct? Jeff, as it relates to some of these rezoning items? Well, no, I'm just saying that normally there's a 24-hour, for additional folks, and if folks want to make comments, they send it to pamela.casey@rockymountainc.gov. Okay. Great. So now we're on to item 9, which is consideration of fiscal year 2021 and 2022 budget review work session schedule. The proposed schedule is Monday, May 17th, 2021 to 2022. Proposed budget delivered to City Council. Monday, May 24th will be the presentation of the proposed budget. Wednesday, May 26th, the council work session will be at 4 p.m. and with the proposed CIP in the council chamber. On Wednesday, June 2nd, be an additional council work session at 4 p.m. on the general fund enterprise funds in the council chamber. Thursday, June 7th, council work session at 4 p.m. for other funds, again, in the council chamber. Thursday, June 9th, council work session at 4 p.m. Additional discussion, if necessary, in the council chamber. Monday, the 14th, the budget public hearing will be held during the regular city council meeting at 7 p.m. here in the council chamber. Wednesday, June 16th, the council work session, if necessary, will be held here at 4 p.m. And Monday, June 28th, will be the budget adoption during the regular council meeting at 4 p.m. here in the council schedule. So the recommended action is to schedule these work sessions for budget review. Are these dates acceptable to everybody? And I have a motion to adopt them. Motion made by Councilman Joyner that we adopt these dates.
Excuse me,
Second.
Yes.
members of council, what are you saying here? Okay.
Okay.
Can we, can I ask that we delay your action on this?
Sure.
And let us
Just
confirm
do-
these?
Very well.
Okay.
Then we'll table that if that's okay with you, Councilman Joyner, all right?
Are we under a time constraint?
I'm sorry?
Mr. Mayor, are we under a time constraint?
Oh,
due to
we're gonna-
public?
We're gonna make sure that we correct this tonight.
Oh,
so
okay.
that- Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll come back to it.
I got you. Thank you.
Which,
We're gonna make sure.
which brings us to item number 10, which is the consideration of temporary street closing requests from Emmanuel Health Education to close South Washington Street from Tarboro Street to Hill Street from 5 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturday, June 26, 2021, for the We Are One Prostate Cancer Walk, Run, and Ride. Recommended action and request is to approve this temporary street closure. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Daughtridge, second by Councilperson Miller. Is there any need for discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. And I'll take just a moment of executive privilege, if you don't mind. Prostate cancer is something that's very dear and near to my heart. My father passed away with it, a fairly aggressive form of it. And it's something that we as men don't often want to talk about or actually engage in testing. And I think it's something that's important that we all consider doing that if you're a male. And so I just had to put that plug in for emotional reasons. So thank you for the time. Item 11, which is consideration of the 2021-2023 of the 3-year consolidated plan, the 2021-2022 Annual Action Plan for the Down East Home Consortium and the analysis of impediments to fair housing choice required for eligibility for home partnership investment funds and CDBG entitlement allocation. The recommended action is to approve the plans and authorize the mayor and city clerk to execute any required documentation or certifications. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilman Walker, seconded by Councilman Daughtridge. Is there a need for discussion on this matter? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. All right, back to number 9. The only 2 dates that change are Thursday, June 7th is actually Monday, June 7th, and Thursday, June 9th is actually Wednesday, June 9th, here in the council session. So if those dates are acceptable to everybody, I'd like to re-entertain a motion.
So moved.
Yes, sir, Councilman Knight.
Yeah, 24th is the council meeting, so that'll be at 4 o'clock.
Just as part of the agenda. Councilman Blackwell, do you have a question? Okay, all right, I'll take your motion, then, Councilman Blackwell. Second by Councilman Joyner. Is there a need for discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Which brings us to item 12, which is consideration of request by Musa Shahada to rename Battle Street to Shahada Drive. Street Name Review Committee recommends this approval. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution approving the renaming of Battle Street to Shahada Drive?
So moved.
All right, motion by Councilman Knight, seconded by Councilperson Miller. Is there a need for discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Item 13 is consideration of the declaring certain personal property surplus and authorizing disposal by the electronic auction via GovDeals, Inc. The requested action is to adopt a resolution declaring property surplus and authorizing disposal by GovDeals, Inc. Is there any specific property that needs to be part of this?
It's,
No, it's just a standard process that we use for surplus and vehicles. Do you want to see a list of the?
Mr. Mayor, it's in the agenda as
It's in
well.
the, it's in the back here.
It's in the back, okay.
Right here.
Well, then if everybody,
Vehicle auction list.
okay. Yes, Councilman Knight, while everybody reviews that.
We have a list also, I know this is declaring property surplus. Also, we have the same list on the website for land property as well, land, houses, so forth and so on.
I don't think so. I think when we're ready to surplus items, then yes, we would post it. But I don't think we have a inventory of property that's ready to be transitioned to, private hands, if I'm understanding your question.
Okay, well, that question probably will come back up in item 14.
Yes.
So just be ready.
On the next.
Yes.
Ms. Stanton, did you have something you want to add to the conversation?
No, I was just here to address any questions if you had some.
Okay. If everybody's had a chance to look at the list, I'll entertain a motion declaring the property surplus and authorizing the disposal.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Daughtridge, seconded by Councilperson Miller. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. So item 14 is to consider of offer from Kevin Jones to purchase 811 and 815 through 821 Hammond Street pursuant to a home purchase agreement for $100 each. The recommended action is to adopt the resolution authorizing an upset bid process, which authorizes the city clerk to consider authorize the city clerk to look at other offers and continue that cycle, and then come to us, I guess, with the final. All right, so,
Mr. Mayor, can we have the manager address the public comment from Mr. Williams and Mr. Smith on the redevelopment commission?
I think that'd be appropriate. I think the question is present in most people's minds, so.
Well, I think as Peter explains the process that he is putting forward for the surplus and upset bid of this property, it might answer some of the questions.
Well, what this is a home purchase agreement. Sometime about 2010, 2011, in that time period, we did 9 of these home purchase agreements, and they were all approved by the city council at that time. They were not presented to the redevelopment commission, just to the city council. So I thought we might follow the same process. I've been meeting with the redevelopment commission, met 2 times, I think, since I've been here. And what we've been talking about has been mainly their interest in the southeast Rocky Mount area, redevelopment projects in the southeast Rocky Mount area. Getting ready to propose to them and to you that you may want to direct them to take on some projects, but that would be coming up at another time for consideration.
Any questions for Mr. Varney? Councilman Blackwell.
I do, some general statements. I think the upset bid process will take care of anybody else's interest in this. But I also think that things are very different from when we were trying to initiate redevelopment prior to today. We heard a long presentation this afternoon earlier about the varied methodologies about how we want to approach our redevelopment in our inner city communities. And when I read over the agreement that we have stated to Mr. Jones, it could be to anyone, I have no issue, but it's just the generic concept. I thought we also had conversation earlier about downtown, that whenever the city puts effort into giving properties or investing in properties that are dilapidated that need to be brought back into stock, that we put some requirement on affordability, affordable housing. So what I want to caution us all is, even if it's the intent of the potential developer to purchase these properties for $100 each, even if that's person's intent to renovate and put back into affordable housing stock into our community, that it be spelled out and that it be conditional whenever we do something like this. Otherwise, it could look like we're doing favors for friends if we don't do that. And also, we don't want to speed up gentrification. I think we would have pushback from communities if they see that people aren't paying taxes and aren't paying fees, and then the properties are possessed by the city, and then we give them to for-profit developers to make a profit. I got a problem with that. So I'm certain that's not the issue in this particular case, but I would like to see us amend the contract to include some affordable housing, some affordability. I don't know how to do that. Have you had discussion with him? Do you want to talk to us about the project in particular, or any details that we might have or that the public might need to know, so everyone will understand what the goals of what this transaction is about?
I've had a conversation with Mr. Jones, but there's nothing written in the document that binds him or whoever the ultimate purchaser is to it. The conversation was that if you pick up this property for $100 and you go through what you have to do to renovate it, our interest as a city is seeing the property reoccupied, and seeing it reoccupied by somebody of low to moderate income. But that is not written as an obligation in the document.
I just want to call to our attention that that's the strategy of redevelopment is very important. If you don't inculcate what your goals are, you won't get them. And there are many examples all across the country about, selling dilapidated properties for nothing, and then coming in and bringing in different people and changing the landscape, but then sabotaging the city's objectives later on. So I would just, and that's the reason, Madam Manager, I asked the question on the front side about all these strategies. You know, we can easily condemn properties, we can get them out of people's hands, put them in the city, but if we don't have any guidelines ourselves as to what we're gonna do with it once we get it, then that's just an open door to private development. And so it would be great if we could have some enlightenment when these opportunities come, just like we did on, I think, was it Hill Street? When we would not provide that property for such a low rate to a private individual or company because we wanted to ensure that that individual or company was not profiting, you know, off of investment that had already been made without putting something in it himself and bringing something back to our community. So I'm not in any objection to providing these opportunities. I am concerned, however, about creating some guidelines and some reinvestment guarantees to our communities.
Thank you, Councilman Blackwell. I think Councilman Daughtridge had a request, and then I guess Councilman Knight. Did you have something to add?
Mr. Varney or Madam Manager, I don't know who wants to answer this, but how does one find out about the properties that are available? And I think someone alluded to that question earlier about what might be listed on our website. So how would one come around about this, saying, did they approach the city and say they wanted to purchase the property? Did the city approach the person? How did that work?
In this case, what I did was, soon after I'd gotten here, I had been told that the city had received these properties by offer of donation 4 years ago, and that they're in good shape, good condition, and somebody needs to put them out and somehow, some way get them reconditioned and reoccupied. So, like I said, what I had done before was use these home purchase agreements in times past to get properties, recycled, you might say, renovated. What I did this time was I called the representative in whose ward this property is located, just to say, I've got these two properties, here's what I've done before, and here's what I'm proposing to do again. And so that's kind of how it went.
Do you have a
Follow-up, is this proper, this area, that's not considered within the downtown district, is it? It's right outside the Villa area?
It's not inside the historic district. It's right on the edge of the historic district, but not included within the boundaries. It's directly across the street from the former senior high school, the 800 block. Remember, there was Stewart's vacuum cleaner business there a long, long time ago.
So the other side, the back side of the armory, right?
Yeah, for transparency,
So,
it's
guys-
next door to my
right.
property.
So guys, we have.
You in the
Councilman Knight
downtown
has something to add, so-
You're not in the downtown area?
Guys, Councilman Knight, please.
I just wanted to say publicly to the city manager and staff, and I know, Peter, you know where all the dead bodies are in the city, but good note that you've done some great work. I've gotten calls about it. I'm not against the item that we're about to vote on, but several people in the last couple of years have asked myself and other council members if the city have any property or dollar. They always say for $100. And I always send them to city staff, and then they come back and say, well, you don't have any houses, or we don't have any property. And now we're voting on something that we had. And so I don't want to seem like a liar or not. When these people come to me, I don't know anything about it. That's why I send it to staff. So I'm hoping that we have a process or or a list or a contact person, if it's going to be you, the city manager office, so when other constituents or citizens ask us, that we can direct them to that, so they will have the opportunity to see what's on the tax roll, and if they want to purchase it, then they would say so, and then it would go up for upset bid.
Yeah.
But to all the people who have come to me, and I said, I don't think we have anything, and send them to the city manager's office, or the assistant city manager's office, or whomever, or community development. And then those people come back and say that we don't have anything, which we did. It needs to be some kind of list or a contact person, right, that we can send people to, so that everyone will have a chance to do so.
I do have 2 more addresses that I've discovered that the city owns that could be, and I believe should be, put out in whatever way we want to put them out. One is at 210 North Pine Street, and there's a vacant lot beside it, 206, and the other is 114 South Tillery Street. Since I've been back, I've been getting, I guess, similar calls to what you all have been getting. Do you have any houses available, and how do I go about getting them? So I've got, I don't know how many I've got on the list, maybe 10 or 12 names or something like that on the list. So maybe for this next round, a way to do it would be to, I don't know what, advertise these, some kind of way, declare these surplus and advertise for bids for those remaining properties. Those are the only ones that I know of that we have to go
Yes,
out.
so what I would like to put in place is really a more formalized way of showing what the city's inventory is of properties that we currently own, and really look at it more in a strategic way. It's one thing to just put the properties out there and somebody bid on it, and then so what? They just become the new owners. But if we don't know, if they have the capacity to, turn the delinquent properties into something that is going to be useful for the council's goals towards increasing affordable housing. And I also would suggest that now that we have these targeted neighborhoods, that we also look very carefully there to see what might be available. And then finally, I think there's a lot to be said about conditioning these properties for the intended purpose that the city council wants to see. And I think I spoke about that earlier in my presentation about the strategic planning process that we're going through right now. And that is that if you receive these properties, then we're going to want or should expect that they're going to be for affordability, and that they're going to be affordable for a specific period of time. And as I recall, the Hill Street property, it was conditioned that it would remain affordable for a period of time. So council certainly has this recommendation for approval to go forward. But going to the next level of this, certainly I think we need to have the affordability piece in there.
Councilman Knight.
Kevin, but could that be a condition on what we're about to do? And I think that through all these presentations that we just received, and even on today, we talk about the Community Land Trust. And then the other one was what? HP, I forget the acronym. But I think at this point in time, we need to include that. Because if this person do not receive the bid or win the bid, then it goes into upset bid, and it could be someone else, and I think we need to have a condition on it. That's our vision, our goal. We've been talking about it. Our retreat was pretty much centered around it, and to miss this opportunity to even put it in this agreement is void and void to all the presentations and the research that staff has done, and what we're trying to do here in Rocky Mount. So I would just like to amend the motion that, or just put in the agreement, the affordability piece.
To be reviewed later, or?
Well, I think Peter, Mr. Bonner was talking to Councilman Blackwell in reference to that. You said it's not formalized, but it was mentioned, and then Ruben said if it's not.
Yeah, well, you're making a motion
Right.
to formalize it for this
Exactly.
agreement.
Exactly.
Do we want Mr. Varney to come back with that new agreement for review, or are we willing allow him to go forward and negotiate in good faith.
City manager?
Well, I think it would be good for him to continue talking with Mr. Jones, since you've had the conversation with him, to see, first of all, if he's interested in that. The AMI would either be 60 or 80%. And so I think in fairness to him that perhaps we delay a vote on it until you've had an opportunity to talk with him and see if that's agreeable.
So modified to table the matter until they come back.
Yeah, till the language come back to us.
All right, very well. I've got a motion to table the matter until language comes back, talking about AMI and affordability of the property that we're trying to dispose of. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Blackwell. Any additional discussion needed? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. All right, matter has been tabled. Brings us to item 15, which is consideration of award of a bid contract for Phase 1 design of a downtown culvert with W.K. Dixon in the amount of $331,440, and 2, fiscal year 2020-2021 budget ordinance amendment, which appropriates funds for this project. The recommended action is to approve the bid contract for project, authorize the mayor and city clerk to execute same on behalf of the city, and 2, to adopt the ordinance amendment. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilman Blackwell, second by Councilman Joyner. Is there a need for discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Okay, item 16, which is consideration of stop-loss contract for health insurance for fiscal year 2021-2022 with Aetna Life Insurance Company in the amount of $294,493.88. The recommended action and request is to approve the extension of the master service agreement for 1 year and authorize the mayor and city clerk to execute same on behalf of the city. Motion made by Councilman Joyner. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Blackwell. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Item 17A is a rebid downtown Rocky Mount office space award lease to A Fresh New Start LLC for 3 years at $47,500 annually, and a total of three-year cost of $142,499.88. Recommended action is to award bids as recommended and authorize the mayor and city clerk to execute the bid contract on behalf of the city. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilman Blackwell. Is there a second? Second by Councilman Knight. Is there a need for discussion?
Question.
Councilperson Miller.
What does this rent work out to on a per square foot basis?
Which
For
one is she?
17A.
Yes, in the package here, you'll see the detailed information on the second page. So the recommended award would be for 2,500 square feet. So whatever that is divided by the 47.
It's 19, I think they have it a few lines down.
Yes, $19.
$19.
Yep, $19 per square foot.
Okay. Any other discussion? Councilman Daughtridge?
I brought this up because I believe this is for where you would like to place the offices of the downtown manager, along with the Alan Matthews, who's currently at the house of the Chamber of Commerce. And my concern is, we as a city, and we've just talking about all the property the city has, even downtown, and this needs, if we're going to locate it downtown, I mean, we have obviously the train station, but then we also have at Douglas Block, I believe we had the Manhattan building that's available. It's adjacent to a project that we have invested as a community, as citizens, a lot of money in the event center, have a lot of people, a lot of traffic coming down there. The space is available. We own it. The spreadsheet that you provided to us last year, it's not that particular property but it's within that Manhattan building. even if we do a charge for this particular center, the monthly rent there is $1.20 a square foot. And I think the location is perfect for this, and it would be using a existing building that the city owns that the taxpayers are not going to spend $142,000 over 3 years.
I'll ask the finance director to come forward, because our property maintenance staff, along with Mr. Harris and Mr. Allen Matthews, evaluated existing buildings in the downtown and found them to be inadequate for the spacing needs that are required, as well as just the visibility. So that is why when we put the RFP out there, we had the responders to respond to it, and they evaluated and determined that this is the best location for the new office.
Any other questions, comments?
Well, did we want to, don't we want to hear, I think, Councilman?
Sure, well, by all means, ask a question. Amy.
Well, I agree with what Madam Manager said. I mean, there were specific criteria when the group sent out this RFP. Central location downtown was very important to them. There was a square footage requirement, a reception area. There were specific things that they were looking for, and they did tour some of our downtown available properties, and those did not meet their needs. So this is when we went out looking for, we put an RFP out to seek something that would meet their needs.
Okay. Any other questions? Ready to call the vote?
Sir.
All right, we have a motion on the floor, duly seconded, to award the bid as recommended and authorize the mayor and city clerk to execute bid contracts on behalf of the city. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Item 17B is to bid the pod transformer replacement Phase 2 design award to Booth and Associates in the amount of $14,000. Agrees to subcontract 10% to women-owned professional services firm. I guess to be named. I guess that's to be named.
To be named.
Okay, but that's a contingent of the contract.
That's right.
All right. And then item 17C is to rebid a regional public transportation service management contract, award to First Transit for 5-year term at a total cost of $882,479.64. The requested action is to award the bids as recommended and authorize the mayor and city clerk to execute the bid contracts on behalf of the city. Is there a motion? Motion made by Councilman Joyner, seconded by, was that Daltrich?
Yes.
Any need for discussion? Okay. Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Yes,
If
sir.
I can make it-
Councilman Knight, please.
I just want to say with the consideration for the following bids, with the downtown Rocky Mount office space, I do want to say that those 2 or 3 young men who put in the bid, I've seen all 3 of them work very hard to restore their building. So I just want to appreciate the new energy downtown, and with Mr. Davis and the Barnes, who really have taken a building that had been vacant and transform it to something beautiful. They're both beautiful buildings, and just wanted to mention that. And so are some other buildings that I've seen, some young people just jump in here and just catch on the vision at the center of it all, and just restore and put their heart, money, downtown, redeveloping downtown. I see it every day. So I just want to say, even though they didn't get the bid, but they have really done some amazing work, and people are really seeing a good investment in downtown, and I appreciate that. And I appreciate the council continue to stay focused and push that to our citizens. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Knight. That brings us to item 18 on our agenda, which are the appointments. Are there any appointments that we need to bring forth for consideration
Miss-
tonight? Councilman Blackwell?
Mr. Mayor, I do not have an appointment, but I have an announcement to make after this section.
Okay, after
And so
18.
After 18,
All right,
yes,
got
sir.
it.
Thank you.
Okay, hearing none, I'll acknowledge Councilman Blackwell for your announcement.
Thank you so much. I wanted to take the opportunity to read a release that the Rocky Mount Black Action Committee would like to have read in the hearing so our public would know about the mural reveal for the End Racism Now street painting, which will be this Sunday at 3 p.m. And if you just give me 2 minutes, I'd just like to read this. It won't take long. It says, the Rocky Mount Black Action Committee is committed to dismantling racism, revitalizing our community, and bringing forth equitable change for our people in our community. For the past 9 months, they've partnered and worked together with the City of Rocky Mount, OCA Maintenance Incorporated, and our community artists to deliver a mural that reflects our history and bringing it to the Edgecombe County and greater community. Rocky Mount Black Action conducted brainstorming sessions during its fall meetings as options for the Black Lives Matter message and ultimately selected End Racism, ! As the message to be painted. This call to action is a way to build an inclusive community through a message that everyone in Rocky Mount and anyone who sees the mural can do. End Racism mural reveal is hosted by the Rocky Mount Black Action Committee at 285 Northeast Main Street, Rocky Mount, and starts at 3 p.m. this coming Sunday. We realize Edgecombe County is a hot spot for COVID-19, and they're asking everyone to follow CDC guidelines, which means socially distanced 6 feet apart and wearing masks. Masks and our PPE will be provided to ensure health safety for our community, and guest speakers will be announced later. They are thankful for the City of Rocky Mount's participation, support, and encouragement. Artists have submitted their designs to Rocky Mount Black Action and were selected based on skill level and message. Each artist was given a $250 stipend by the City of Rocky Mount for their contribution to the mural. Their community artists are Paul J. Jordan Mayo, Shanita Jones, Tyshika Dickens, Delana Robbins, Khalil Peoples, Jerome Chesson, and Montreal Richardson. And they have worked tirelessly to create a breathtaking display to complement Rocky Mount Event Center downtown. It's really beautiful, and I hope people will come. It's beautiful, and it's so exciting that these are all local young people right here in our community. The City of Rocky Mount hired OCA Maintenance, a local Black contracting firm owned by DeQuavius Mann, who, by the way, which I don't ever promote Duke, but he was a Duke football player, to complete the outline of the message painted on the street. By participating in the mural, the City of Rocky Mount is working with the artists to approve them as city vendors for future proposal opportunities, and for that we thank you, Madam Manager, for creating pathways for young people to be able to do business with the city that they live in and have paid dues to all their lives. So they're asking everyone to please come out. They've listed several sponsors, but the most important thing is that this is for everybody. So we really do hope that everyone will come out and support the reveal. I believe they're planning a good event. Thank you to Mr. Assistant City Manager for working with that team. I think they have food trucks and all kinds of entertainment and arts opportunities to take place downtown. It's going to be very exciting.
Thank you.
3 p.m., 3 o'clock on Sunday.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Is it too late to get that on 19 or interviews with, maybe you already done that?
And, yes, and just to, thank you, and just to be clear, the Rocky Mount Black Action Committee is a youth-led movement, and all this gray hair on my head signifies I'm not a part of that, to create a just and integral community in which Black people are respected. Our work towards social justice is guided by love, empathy, and collectivism. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Blackwell. This time,
Ms. Brown, so that you think you can get something?
we'll work.
Thank you.
So, counsel, at this time, we'd like to ask our attorney, Jeff Rose, to make a statement relative to a personnel matter, and that'll be the last item on our agenda tonight. I'll turn it over to you, city attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Announcing a settlement. The city and former Assistant City Manager Natasha Hampton has settled all the disagreements between them upon the payment by the city of $65,000 to Ms. Hampton and her attorneys. Ms. Hampton is no longer employed by the city of Rocky Mount. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Is there any other business to come before this council?
Mayor,
Yes, Councilman Walker.
appreciate it. I would like to speak to just item 14 that we had on the agenda because I had an individual call me about it today, saying that they were, referred to me to ask about the upset bid process. And I share with them, I'm new to council and I have no clue how the upset bid process works. So would there be someone to explain that process, or can we have someone speak to it tonight? Because I think that individual came tonight to the council meeting.
I think, Jeff, can you tell them how this upset bid process works? There's a period of time that it's.
Part of the advertisement, there would be a statement that anybody who upsets the bid who wants to buy it for the increased bid will also have to enter into the contract with the city to completely redo the house, bring it up to all, to at least all code. And if that were, if there were an upset, then it would come back to the city and you could say, well, we'll advertise again, or we're not going to accept this. So it's up to you when it comes back. And if you say we'll accept the bid, then it's advertised again, and it goes out there again, and they can do some more, there can be other bids, and so sometimes these things can go on for months.
Can you tell how much time?
Yeah, in the mic so that people can hear. That's, thanks.
Well, it's advertised for a period of 10 days that they have, and they have to upset it by, I think it's 10% of the first 1,000 and 5% of any additional money. But of course, in this house, in this case, it would just be 10%.
So it's a 10-day process. 10-day process comes back.
Yeah, yes, once it's advertised, it has 10 days to get the bids into the clerk.
Then council has control of who's awarded the bid.
Yes, now, if there are no upset bids, then it does not come back to the council. It would be sold to Mr. Jones. It would be, it would be, well, and the property is not conveyed until all the improvements have been made. He doesn't get it right out. He has to come in, and the city has to be satisfied that the improvements have been made. And then the property is deeded over.
Appreciate that. I hope they could hear you. If not, I'm sure they'll call tomorrow too. Thank you.
Please feel free to do so.
So, hearing no other business, I adjourn this meeting.